Hi, Manhwa population family. I hope you enjoyed the previous video in this series. And if you haven't seen it yet, no worries. You can find the link in the description below, or just click the icon in the top corner of the screen. Now, without further delay, let's jump straight into today's episode. But Kratos kept striking. Fakamer kept screaming. At this point, Fakamer sounded like he was moaning in pain. Oh, he's starting to like it. As Sewell watched them, he yelled, "Stop!" Kratos then glanced to his side. He saw the reconnaissance wraith from the game. It was a bird holding a crystal ball. That confirmed that Cyril was keeping a close watch. He then became more furious that Cyril tried to ruin his harvest. He would make sure Cyril regretted it completely. The next day, Fluke was digging around. Azurat watched her. He saw her calloused hands. Rotisserie Chicken then asked what she was doing. Fluke replied that the Demon King, the 4 heavenly generals, and all the adults were working hard on farming, so she wanted to help somehow. Azurat commented that she was a stupid, low-ranking demon brat. He told her that the field beside him had already been plowed. He suggested that she should do something useful. Hearing that made Fluke happy. She thanked Fakamer for plowing the field and becoming a lightning rod for them, too. Fakamer was touched and called her a cutie. He stated that it made all the hard work worth it. Azurat had a side comment that Fakamer was already losing it. Azurat mocked them for trying to farm in that wasteland. He uttered that the damn potato they were growing wasn't even sprouting. He stated that if they kept the potato storage warm, the sprouts would grow quickly. He told her that everyone was going to starve to death. Fluke heard that and ran. She was even skipping as she made her way. Azurat believed that a low-ranking demon couldn't do anything. At noon, Zephyros had a slight concern about the Demon King's plan. He assumed that Cyril must know the trap they set. He doubted if Cyril would really come to rescue Fakamer. Kratos replied, "Of course not." Kratos expected Cyril to send his subordinates first, and he knew that if they wanted that idiot to come out himself, they would need to eliminate every single one of his subordinates first. They were ready for battle. Kratos ordered not to leave anyone alive. His army of farmers was already guarding lightning pole number 2. The reconnaissance wraith flew over them. Sewell called Kratos a fool. He uttered that waiting around and being ready to attack wouldn't really make Cyril's subordinates appear. While he thought it was unfortunate for Fakamer, Saru Thul was focused on his only goal, and that was to ruin the harvest. He ordered his crop wraiths to go. And where did they appear? At the potato storehouse. Several gecko-like ghosts appeared, and then they all rushed to attack. Sewell ordered them to crush all the potatoes and trample them into oblivion. The crop wraiths entered the storage shed. Little did they know, it was just as Kratos expected. The crop wraiths were surprised. Our boy stood at the top and uttered, "I knew the crop wraiths would appear." With a cunning smile, Kratos welcomed all of them to their graves. The crop wraiths were overwhelmed. He then recalled the first time he encountered these crop wraiths in the game. He felt pure despair. They were Sarathal's second elite force. The problem is that they always move in swarms. If they even touch a person physically, they will latch on and rapidly age the person. Not to mention, they copied the skills the players had equipped. They really are a complete nuisance. But Kratos knew there was a way to wipe them out. He yelled, "Who wants to be fried first?" He just needed to attack them with lightning-based items. The crop wraiths knew it was a trap, so they retreated. But Kratos told them that the real trap was what came next. The crop wraiths saw blood at the door. It was the blood of Kratos that was smeared last night. And now Kratos used Phase 2 of his ability. Kratos smashed the ground and released lightning, and it crawled through his blood until it pooled on the door where the blood was smeared. Then it struck in the air. The technique is called Wide Area Bloody Strike. At this point, the wraiths looked like sperms. The crop wraiths were hit and screamed at the top of their lungs, even if they didn't have one. With that, they could be hit with physical attacks. Kratos shouted and deployed the farm guards. These, who had been itching for a battle, then entered the fight with their overpowered sickles and rakes. They were so full of vitality that they scared the crop wraiths. The farm guards may have looked unimpressive, but they were the strongest units in the final map. He was confident that the crop wraiths were nothing to them now. Kratos felt like a ruthless, smart alpha demon king. It made him think that he was fit for that world. He checked for any wraiths that hadn't been fried yet. He decided to finish them off personally, but then there was a deafening scream. Fluke crawled out of the mountain of potatoes. Kratos was surprised to see her. A crop wraith targeted Fluke. Her father got worried, but he couldn't rush to her aid since he was fending off the enemy. Kratos felt frustrated with these clueless ones, but he decided to focus on the top priority, which was to eliminate as many escaping crop wraiths as possible. Though he said that, he was still focused on Fluke. He wondered how he would do that when Bloody Strike wouldn't reach that far. He threw a potato at the wraith. He knew that throwing it wouldn't achieve anything, but he looked desperate. The potato bounced off the head of the crop wraith. The wraith caught it in the air. The potato acted like a pokeball and started absorbing Kilian. A pink swirl of air covered the potato. Kratos was confused. Then a sweet-sounding poof. The soul came out of the potato. The soul bounced towards the mountain of potatoes. While they were distracted, the other crop wraiths had escaped. Our boy stared blankly at the outcome. The potato turned into a sprout. Then he realized, wraiths accelerate aging. It jump-started the stalled biological clock of potatoes. Kratos then grabbed Fluke, and with this kind of expression, he uttered, "Good job, kid." It made Fluke tremble. Kratos called the attention of the farm guards. He told them to forget about luring Hall out. From then on, they were going on the offensive. It would benefit them more. Meanwhile, someone opened their eyes. They were confused as to where they were. It was Lightning Pole number 1, Asherat. He questioned who he was and the reason he was living. He saw the beautiful sun and was grateful to face it. His stomach then growled. He realized that even in his state, he still craved life. His attention was diverted when someone called his name. It was Fluke. Fluke told him that thanks to his advice about the potato sprouts, everything had worked out, and she even got tons of chino because of it. She shared with him that Kratos gathered a ton of farmer soldiers. But at this point, Asherat was not even listening to her. All he could think about was eating those chino that were in front of him. Asherat went crazy upon seeing the food that Fluke was holding. Fluke knew he was hungry, so she gave him some. She threw it at him, but it landed on his freaking eye instead. He groaned loudly and threatened the little girl, saying he'd kill her. Fluke apologized and told him that she'd try one more time. 3 chino were thrown at the same time, just so Asherat would have a higher chance of catching one. But only one landed in his mouth, and the other 2 hit both of his eyes. Asherat was in tears as he chewed it. He found it so tasty. Kratos was notified that a part of his demon army felt happy. 1 point was added to him. His total HP was now 302. Kratos was confused because, including the newly added recruits from the last round that received chino, that would be 300 demons, and one of them was that kid. He wondered who the other one was, but he didn't pay much attention because the more the better. He'd have to save it for the Hall raid. He told the farm guards to advance. He hyped them up by saying, "All for a bountiful harvest." A few hours later, they arrived at the entrance of Suthel's domain. Suthel ordered his men to cut off the bridge. The rope was cut. These wraiths then teased the demons by saying, "What'll you do now without a bridge?" Unexpectedly, the Demon King simply jumped to the other side. The wraiths panicked, but then they realized that the jump came up short, and Kratos was now free-falling. The wraiths laughed at him for being stupid. He just came and jumped down like that. So stupid. But then they stopped when they saw parts of Kratos merged into the wall. His butt was showing again. Ultimate glitch was activated. The wraiths couldn't help but blush. Then Kratos turned. Then he turned again, showing his butt. Our boy was slowly creeping up to them. He did it continuously while wearing a scary expression. With a few more back and forths, our butt cheek king was up. The wraiths complained that it was so gross and disgusting. Kratos pointed at Zephyros as a cue to proceed as planned. Zephyros gave a slight nod. Kratos then ran inside. According to his brilliant strategic plan, the food wraiths should be terrified of the potatoes. But if he charges in alone and unarmed, there's a great chance they will catch his bait. Lo and behold, Hall ordered his food wraiths to charge because the Demon King was alone and had no cursed potatoes. Even just grazing Kratos means victory for them. The food wraiths attacked. Kratos used a secret technique. He used Quantum Leap move. It was the glitch technique, and he even gave it a cool name. Once again, his body merged into the wall while his butt was sticking out. Then he was gone. The Wraiths commented that Kratos' movement was so creepy. They wondered when he started going through walls. Then they sensed him above them. They grabbed him and thought that if they could catch him, they would win. But then the Demon Lord disappeared in an instant. It's the 19th time Kratos had done it, so he already saw every corner of the map. And if he combines all the areas where enemies appeared in the game into one place, Kratos stood at the center while the Food Wraiths surrounded him. He took a deep breath. The Food Wraiths assumed that even if he's the Demon Lord, Kratos got tired. Kratos replied that he isn't the Demon Lord at that moment. He stated that he's a veteran player. Zephyros yelled. He ordered to make it sprout. The farm guard appeared and threw the potatoes. The potatoes hit the crop wraiths. Kratos also ordered them to farm. I will just give you guys a few more seconds to see this magnificent scene. Also, please consider subscribing. Anyway, Zephyros was unsure of their plan at first, but he realized that once again, the Demon Lords were spot on. Earlier, Kratos informed him that while Kratos lured the crop wraiths all into one place, Zephyros would lead the farm guards and follow the map. Zephyros saw the map of the abandoned ancient aqueduct. It's a dead end, and there's likely nothing there. Kratos uttered that there is something. It was a secret shortcut that he knew. After escaping the horrifying cliff of the dead, right before reaching the final map, he scoured the area and found it. His initial thought was that it's made with detail, even though there's nothing in there. Then he noticed a different texture on the wall. After slashing it, the wall opened. That's how the places were connected. The tunnel connects the place where they had their first battle with Suthel to that cave. At first, he was confused that he couldn't go in, but it turned out that he could enter after cleaning the area. He could obtain the elixir of metamorphosis there. He was told to grab it if it existed in the real world. The elixir of metamorphosis is the compressed soul of countless dead meat piles. It can only be consumed once, but the effect wasn't stated. The farm guards rejoiced as they collected the potatoes with sprouts. It meant they could plant them now. Fluke's father thought about her and how they could live and eat their fill. But seeing this, our boy's expression turned serious. He recalled a memory when he was starving too much and a grandma was there to feed him. She also promised him a full dinner if he could wait a bit more. Then the next thing Yonkale knew was that there was an ambulance. Kratos made a sour expression. He then stated something that made the farm guards rejoice. Anyone who tries to get in the way of us finally eating will be completely wrecked. Someone then called the Demon Lord. It was Baal. He stated that Sul is strong, so he would help him. Kratos told Baal to just carry the potatoes since the fight is the job for the boss. We then see Saru call the Great Heart of Ice Spirit. He prayed to bind and defeat more spirits with a mighty cold, and to grant him more troops and power. Kratos suddenly appeared and kicked the hell out of him from behind. Sarat Hall hit the ground. He was surprised that Kratos was there. Kratos told him that it's none of his business because now it's time to exterminate pests. Saruel was crouched on the ground while Kratos stood in front of him. Saruel called Kratos a fool for thinking he could defeat Sul alone. This Zeus wannabe's form changed. He revealed his true power. Instead of freaking out, our boy had this blank expression because deep inside, Kratos was thinking that he had seen it 19 times. In fact, while chasing Saru, who kept fleeing through the cliffs, the player of Aged Kimchi ended up constantly encountering Saru's subordinates. And by the end, he practically wiped out all the cliff mobs. Then the guy flees into the room where the heart of Ice Spirit lies. It's a terrifying artifact said to be created by an ancient dragon at the cost of its life. A chilling frost that traps dead spirits in the world. Su tries to summon more followers using that power, but the paladin arrives just in time and the final battle begins. He uses his true ability by then. Saruel formed a swirl of wind. He acknowledged Kratos' strength. The swirl was slowly forming a figure. Saruel now looked like Kratos. He was certain that he'd win the battle. Kratos knew Saruel's skill is to perfectly copy his opponent's stats and materialize them. That was the endgame. At that point, Saruel had the same stats as his character, which were at their peak, with insane attack power and a nearly broken evasion skill. Just one mistake, and the opponent instantly died. However, the stats Sul copied were from the current Demon King, Kratos, and Kratos isn't that strong anymore. Sul charged forward. Kratos was notified he could use HP to purchase various stat upgrades. Kratos could add 10% to his current stamina, mental strength, physical strength, dexterity, and magic power. Kratos' HP was at 302, and he used 50 HP to upgrade dexterity to 30%. Sul was surprised when Kratos easily evaded his attack. Then Kratos punched Sul with all his might. Kratos used 50 points to upgrade physical strength from 20% to 30%. Kratos met Sul's fist with his. Sul screamed out loud that it hurt, and he was confused as to why Kratos was still perfectly fine. Kratos told him, "Farming requires brains too." At this point, Saruhal was furious. Saruhal attempted to use Bloody Strike, but our boy used 50 points to upgrade magic power, so from 20%, it became 30%. Then he also used 50 points to upgrade mental strength from 20% to 30%. Both of them used their lightning strike. Sul was caught off guard as Kratos' skill overpowered his, and with that, Sul was electrocuted. The Zeus wannabe started to melt and became a puddle. He looked like a slime now. Kratos was notified that he had used HP to upgrade all stats by one tier. All of his stats were now at 30%. Then he noticed something: his growth quest was achieved. As a reward, a new skill was unlocked: Summon Farmer's Throne. Unlock cost: 100 HP. The Throne of the Farmer King is equipped with a variety of sturdy farming tools. A Game of Thrones reference, huh? It was timely, since Kratos needed some new gear. Even as a puddle, Saruhal could still talk. He called out to Kratos, then asked him if he thought it was over. Kratos replied, no. He knew there was always a phase 2 in the second half of the fight. Sul's form changed into an ancient evil dragon. He said that it was his origin. Kratos was amazed. It looked insane. Seeing it in person, the attack power and HP pool were no joke. Not surprising, since Saruhal is the boss of the final area before the last boss. But Kratos was confident. That was when Baal and the farm guards arrived. Kratos told Saru that he just came from the final boss zone himself. He challenged Sul, asking what he was going to do now. Sul froze. He now panicked, seeing the reinforcements, and uttered, "Hold on, let's talk first." But it was already too late. The farm guards charged at him. They were all motivated to do it for a good harvest. They let out their frustration on Saruhal for interrupting their farming. Saruhal begged to be spared. Kratos knew he could beat Saruhal if he fought him head-on. But since Saruhal talks and moves, he didn't feel it was right to kill him with his own hands. He also noticed that everyone was still too hungry to fight properly. They had been beating Saruhal up for quite some time, but Saruhal still wouldn't die. He thought that maybe they should beat him more efficiently. Kratos then unlocked the Summon Farmer's Throne skill. It left him with only 2 points left. Summon Farmer's Throne made a green beam of light shine from the sky. Then it slowly lowered the throne. It was almost on the ground. Then it crashed at a rapid speed. Kratos was surprised. It landed right on Sul. The force was so strong that it made a crater in the ground. The farm guards rejoiced. One demon celebrated the Demon King for not just letting Saru die, but finishing him off with a head smash for the final blow. They loved how brutal, savage, and demonic he was, like a true villain. One demon screamed that this is what the Demon King does, and useless small fries like them could never imitate that. They cheered for Kratos' name. Kratos went with the crowd and shouted to rejoice. Meanwhile, back to the lightning rods, Fakamer noticed something. Since his boss was defeated, Fakamer knew that it was time to ascend as well. At this point, all the fields were plowed. Lightning Rod number 2's purpose was complete. I love that they even added an umbrella for him. With that raid, their main mission was accomplished. The potato sprouts had emerged, and Kratos had gotten rid of all the pests threatening the harvest. With all those problems solved, our boy shouted, "It's time to plant the potatoes." But before they could leave, the crystal on the pedestal moved. Kratos noticed it. He was notified that his mission of defeating Hall on the Cliff of the Dead for the 20th attempt had been completed. It made him wonder if he had resumed from his 19 tries in the game. Then the system informed him that he was rewarded with a hidden event. A sealed origin trapped within the Heart of Ice spirit had awakened from misuse. The Heart of Ice let out steam. It slowly opened. Kat approached it and was surprised. A cute baby blue dragon emerged. Our boy was dumbfounded when he saw it. The dragon looked at him and exclaimed, "T-Bone." They stared at each other. The dragon wondered if the creature in front of him was his daddy. Kratos reached out to it. The dragon seemed ticklish. He thought about how he hatched from the egg, how it was dark all around him, which made him scared, but now he was relieved that his daddy found him. But that didn't last long, because the dragon saw this ugly-ass face. Kratos even commented, "How cute." The dragon trembled. He got scared. As they were leaving the place, the freaking farm guards were shouting that they should just eat the baby dragon. That made the dragon teary-eyed. Kratos called them fools and told them they'd have to raise it first to get more out of it. The dragon realized the person he's calling daddy might eat him. Kratos stopped walking when he noticed something. The demons awaited their return. They expressed genuine happiness when they saw the farm guards come back. Fluke ran to her daddy. They happily reunited with their families. The baby dragon's cheeks flushed. He felt the warm energy from everyone. He looked up at his daddy and realized that maybe they weren't so scary after all. But then he saw Kratos' face again. I take it back. They're totally terrifying. At dusk, the baby dragon trembled in the corner. He peeked out and saw the Demon King's scary face again. It made him think they were waiting for him to grow up just to eat him. Meanwhile, the Demon King was busy worrying about how to feed the baby dragon. He had heard that baby dragons eat refined gemstones, but there wasn't a single jewel in the area, just heaps of rusty old metal. Zephos arrived to report. As expected, there were difficulties building the ridges. To plant crops properly, they needed to build mounds of earth along the boundaries of fields or paddies. But naturally, this required pure soil, and their land was full of rocks. The farm guards kept digging, but more rocks kept popping up. The baby dragon thought he was being worked to death like the rest of them, but Kratos was just holding him in his arms. Kratos was thinking that their land isn't a field, it's a coal mine. At this rate, it would take forever to clear the rocks. And if they kept using that much manpower every day, they'd quickly run out of chunos they had prepared for rewards. Even with reinforcements from the other lords, the problem wouldn't go away. Kratos made a scary face again. He wished he were the main character in a comic who could summon a familiar or something. He thought of a wombat that could clear rocks. The baby dragon trembled again, just seeing his face. Kratos then noticed Fluke digging the soil. She looked determined. Watching her, he realized he should stop whining and just find a solution somehow. While he was deep in thought, someone yelled, "Razor wins!" Kratos turned pale. A gigantic tornado was coming their way, fast. He had forgotten about that. He knew the vast wasteland sometimes spawned razor wind events at random, and if they got caught in those, they'd be shredded in an instant. Kratos yelled at everyone to take cover behind the rocks. They ran to anything that could cast shade and got low to the ground as much as they could. Kratos ran, too, but even though the razor wind was still far, the wind pressure was already insane. What he felt in the game was nothing compared to this. This was a natural disaster, the biggest threat to farming. But while everyone was fleeing, Fluke was running toward the razor wind. Kratos saw it. Turns out she was going to Aesrat. Her dad chased after her. Kos was annoyed at the brat. Kratos shoved the baby dragon into Fluke's father's arms. He told him to protect the baby dragon, and that he'd kill anyone who follows. Ball yelled at him not to go, that he'd die. It was too dangerous. Kratos knew that, but he couldn't afford to lose his precious lightning rod, or laborer. Farming isn't some laid-back, therapeutic activity where you just chill and pick apples and pears. Fluke tried her best to move the pole, but it wasn't budging. Aesrat yelled at her to get away. Kratos thought that to farm is to live, and to live is to go to war. He yelled at the kid to move. Kratos kicked the pole, and it broke. Aesrat screamed as he fell, face flat to the ground. The Demon King got slashed on the cheek. Even as Fluke got cut all over her body, she tried to undo the knot. Acerat told her it was a binding knot. Even one of the 4 heavenly kings couldn't undo it. He was certain she'd never untie it. He told her to just run, but Fluke was surprised when she was grabbed. Kratos carried both the pole and Fluke. The baby dragon could feel the power from the creature holding him. He realized, my daddy's not sturdy. He's invincible. Kratos was bleeding all over. He shouted out loud and ran as fast as he could. The baby dragon, sensing Kratos' state, was amazed he could go that far just to help people. The razor wind rapidly approached. Kratos kept running. He bled all over as it came closer. At some point, he fell. He hugged Fluke as tight as he could. He dropped the pole, too, as he crashed into the ground. The baby dragon flew to his daddy. He now viewed him as a kind creature. He went close to them, took a deep breath, and yelled T-Bone as loud as he could, then released a massive surge of icy wind. It collided with the razor wind. Kratos felt the razor winds weaken. He assumed the baby dragon had used cold energy to dampen the updrafts. The baby dragon kept going. Even with his tiny body, he released a powerful wind. At this point, Kratos accepted his fate. He knew this was too much for a baby dragon. The razor winds were too close. But then, 3 demons rushed in to rescue them. Fluke's father carried Kratos. Zephos carried Fluke. Baal carried Acerat and the baby dragon. They tried to escape as fast as they could. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoy this manhwa as much as I do. And guess what? There's another brand new manhwa recap dropping at the same time. So make sure to check it out. You're definitely going to love it. Thanks for watching.